Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah.
Keep it in.
Huh? Yo, do not cut that.
Yeah.
All right. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. And I'd know, wouldn't I, Reese?
Yeah, you would.
I'm a big shot now. Oh, shit. People probably haven't heard.
No.
I'm better than you were. Okay, well, that wasn't nice, but,
It got a little longer, so it seems.
Welcome back to the Luke Kidgell Hour. Before we get into the meat of the episode, sorry if you're a vegan, but this is going to be a meaty episode. Also, if you're a vegetarian, I apologize.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of meat in this episode, not a lot of mock meat, which is what it usually is, this podcast. This podcast is usually vegan friendly, a lot of padding, a lot of pretending. But we're back for another episode. We've got Kyle's buzzer sound effect to start the Luke Kidgell Hour podcast today. Take it away, Kyle, in 3, 2, 1. I played the wrong sound effect again.
You're having a shocker.
Mate, you know what? You can't come in and win them all.
No.
All right? Although that would be good if he just racked one of my sound effects and just submitted me getting the straw. All right, Kyle's sound effect in 3, 2, 1.
They came bounding over.
Yeah.
Bit of a throwback.
Yes, a bit is an understatement. That is a throwback to what it was like being on Facebook in 2012. Just in case some of you TikTok kids weren't aware, that was pretty much it. That's all you missed. And that and just waiting for a mate.
Yeah.
I would say were the two highlights of that era. Guys, I'm better than you. I'm an actor now. Comedy, sure. I had a great career, but it was a stepping stone. I think we can all agree, wasn't it, Reese? Yeah. It was just to get me here, and I guess I fooled you all. Psych. Sure, I posed as a comedian / podcaster for 5 years now. It was all just so I could break in to that ad market. This morning, I did my first ever advertisement. I was a featured extra. I had one line. Some would even say a lead. Ooh. Not on the whole video because I think there's a voiceover, but in the scene that I was in, it goes for about 7 seconds, maybe even 10, perhaps, and I'm a lead. So I'm the only one there on set today with a line. Idiots. All these extras around me just like pretending to drink beers and stuff. So where do I begin? I feel like this is going to be on my Netflix documentary, so I need to get it right. Last week, I got a phone call from a good friend of mine, Maccas, and he was like, "Hey mate, we're shooting an ad. Are you free Tuesday?" And I said, "You know I am." Don't be condescending. All right, it's rude you ask. Because he's like, "Are you free at 7:30 on a Tuesday a.m.?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't think I've ever been busy at 7:30 a.m. Like busy sleeping. This was actually the earliest. I had to wake up at 5:45 this morning, right? Probably the earliest I've been up. I was going to say since pre-COVID, but there was one night that me, Keelan, and a few other blokes and Devlin and stuff, we left the strippers at 6. So I technically have been awake at 6 a.m., but not waking up for the day. I've been winding down from another one. And one time during lockdown, I did play Call of Duty till about 5 a.m. But other than that, I have not been awake before 6 at all. So it was a bit harsh waking up. You know what? I never thought I'd say this. And you're probably like, where'd Luke go? To Hollywood. But where'd Luke go? I think I'm going to start waking up earlier. I loved it. Do you know how cool it was? We wrapped up the shoot, and that's what we say on set. We just go, we say, that's a wrap, and then we all like high five and whatever. But yeah, we wrapped up the shoot at 10 a.m. Do you know how weird that is, achieving something before 10 a.m.? I haven't done that in maybe ever. maybe primary school, even high school. I felt like I rocked up, I was there, but I don't think I achieved anything before 10 a.m. It rarely happens for me or maybe anyone, but there's people, there's people out and about.
Yeah.
I was driving through the city at 6:30 a.m. There's people just driving around, running, kayaking. People just doing shit. 6:30. I honestly, I had no idea that this was going on. I thought we all kicked off. I thought we all agreed 7:30 to 8 a.m. was the kickoff time. Dude, I bet if I went there at 4, there'd be people doing stuff.
Probably.
Maybe just garbage truck guys doing that shit. But it was busy. There was traffic. I got to the end of the end of the freeway and I was like, I wasn't expecting congestion at 6:30 a.m. But turns out other people have jobs. It's a whole thing. I've just learnt about it. But I rocked up to the shoot earliest. It was my call time was 7 a.m. Because that's what I have to deal with now. Call times. I didn't actually get sent the script until about half an hour before, but that's right because they trust me. I'm a professional. I can't speak now, but I am a professional. I'm very tired. I woke up at 5:45. I had about 5 hours of sleep because we were filming last night. We were watching Beauty and the Geek till midnight.
Grind doesn't stop.
Oh man, it never stops. I'm doing podcasts. Then I'm going home, I'm watching reality TV. Then I'm waking up, I'm doing ads. It's just, what a hard life I have.
Yeah.
My role for the ad was quite simple, and I felt like it was my destiny. I was fulfilling some kind of prophecy that I didn't know existed until I got that phone call last week. My mate was like, so we've got this idea for an ad. We want you to be in it. You kind of are the main guy in the scene, and you're just he goes, do you reckon you'd be a good guy at a pub? And I was like, yeah. Sounds like my kind of role. I was like, yes, mate, I would love to. So I got to the pub. When he said 7:30 originally, I'll be honest, was fully thinking PM. I was like, that sounds great. We could have a few beers after. Fuck yeah. Turns out everyone's just on the Carlton Zeros pretending to drink. And I was like, it wasn't as fun as I maybe pictured in my head, but it was still a bit of fun. It was for Nobby, right? The underwear company that sponsors Luke and Lewis as well. So they're all a bunch of legends. The scene was, I haven't actually told you about it, Reese, but this was my big moment, right? So there was, by the way, there was 8 extras for this scene. It went for 10 seconds. And I'm talking, there's I don't know, I had no perspective of what this was. I thought maybe for TV, that's what happens. I just didn't think I also don't even know if this ad's going to even be on TV. It might even just be for the internet. But so much effort goes into this shit. When we film this, we kind of just press play and whatever, I just upload it next. And when we do a TikTok, we kind of watch it a couple times back and we go, that's good enough. And then just put it up. There was 6, maybe probably 10 actually. I'm definitely underselling it. There was probably 10 crew members behind the scenes of this ad. There was 2 directors. This is one, by the way, it's a 10-second shot.
Yeah.
There's 2 directors. There's one guy that's just there's 3 people on the camera. There's 1 camera, so I was confused. There's 2 lighting dudes. There's a sound guy. By the way, his only job was to mic me up for my one line. So they hired him in for the day. Crazy. And then I just can't get over this. Then they had 8 extras. They had one lady who's her job was to just get us food and coffee and stuff. I was just why is it I rocked up and then I was like, where's my trailer? Because if there's 10 people here, I'm the lead, right? I got told I was going to be the main star today. They were just just put your bag over there. And I was like, this is the shittest trailer I've ever seen. It's a booth in a pub. But that was fine. I was like, you know what? I'll just as a kind of bonus, as a little treat, I won't kick up a stink about it like I usually would. So I decided to do it trailerless. And we were pretending to be in Queensland at 8 a.m. So it's July in Melbourne. If you don't know, bit chilly. Probably it was 8 degrees this morning, and there was lights shining through the tree that was supposed to be emulating the sun, right? And I had to be in a shirt, kind of a festival shirt, being the larrikin at the pub, And I was freezing my tits off, right? And that's right. And maybe I'm a bit of a diva now. You guys wouldn't understand. I wouldn't expect you to. You're not a movie star, right? So don't try and relate to me. Oh, I've done a bit of modeling. No one gives a fuck, all right? Let me know when you've done an ad that may or may not even be aired on TV. Then I'll respect you. So I'm doing this thing. I have my big line. I'm prepping for it. I get sent the script half an hour before, but that's all I need because I'm a goddamn professional. And my line is, so what happens is it's about how a knobby underwear package, because it's subscription underwear, gets to your doorstep. So a BMX bike enters the pub, right? And then there's a couple of extras playing Jenga in the pub. So pretty cool pub. If that's when you know that you have cool friends, is when you need to play board games at a pub. So there's a couple of people playing like Jenga. Everyone's having a bit of fun, right? And at 8 a.m. and we're pretending we're in Queensland. The Jenga, it's like big Jenga, right? Not like little table size Jenga. We're talking floor Jenga. Yep. You know, the big blocks. It gets knocked down, and then I pick up the knobby package with the camera, so it's like following me, and I deliver my big line, which is, and it's spelt. So on the script, I have to say sweet, because it's spelled SCHWEET.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you want me to say sweet or do you want me to say it correctly? And they're like, just say it correctly. And I was like, okay. So I have to be like, sweet. Looks like I've already forgot my line. Sweet. Looks like Big Ben's got a new package for his package. And then I inspect the package for like a couple seconds. And then I go to open it and I go, oh, haven't seen this month's design. And then as I go to open it, someone goes, oi. And then they pull away. And I'm done. Oof. That's a wrap. That's what we were shooting. It took an hour, right? I think I nailed it the first go. I'm pretty sure they did 30 other takes as a safety, but that's fine. I thought I did great. It's because they kept on like stuffing up the lighting and stuff. They were like, oh, like it doesn't really look like the sun. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's not. So, you should have shot it in Queensland if you wanted sun, or just waited a couple of hours. But yeah, I nailed it. I really felt, I'm not going to lie, Reese, I felt like it was my responsibility as the lead of the scene, or featured extra, whatever. That's what it said on my paperwork, but lead, I felt like it was my responsibility on set to lift up morale. So I took it upon me to kind of get the extras involved, because it's probably their first gig or whatever. And it is my first gig too, but I kind of had to go on set, pretend I knew what I was doing. And that's when the role of lead gets thrust upon you, it's not just on camera. You've got to be off camera as well. So I'm making some small talk. I'm trying to rev up the troops a bit. There's a guy, he lives nearby. We're talking about some local stuff. Like, oh, yeah, you live in the Northeast? Yeah, same, man. We're talking about the drive here. Like, oh, I copped a bit of traffic. There was roadworks. Dude, that crushed that conversation. I'm having a chat to the girl next to me because she was great. But she got given one instruction, right? They're like, just pretend to have fun. And she's like, oh, fuck, man, it's 8 a.m. This is hard to pretend to have fun. And I'm like, that's right. So, have you ever done any acting? No, you wouldn't know. But
did drama in year 9, that's about it.
Okay, you're probably maybe more experienced than me. Before today, I didn't have a lot of experience at all, but now I'm a bit of an expert. So they were like, oh, when the camera's like just panning in before your line, can you just like all pretend to mingle and stuff? So every time they're like, and action, I'm just like, how good's Jenga? And I'm just, every time I'd say like a new random line, because the girl was like supposed to laugh at something I said like in the background. So I'm like, by like take 30, dude, I've just given up on trying to make her laugh. One take, I was just like, I hope that's the take they use. It was just, I was throwing out anything by the end. And it's funny because some person's job is editing that. And because I'm mic'd up, they're only going to use my actual line. but it means when they're editing, they got to hear all the fucking dumb stuff I said, like seemingly in the background.
Yeah.
That's all they're gonna hear is like the camera going in and me just like, who the fuck is this guy we hired for the ad? But no, it was a bit of fun, and yeah. So hang on, just gonna put my servo sunnies back on that I'm pretty sure I bought in Fiji once because I lost my sunglasses. Yeah,
Were the extras asking you like, oh, what agency you're from? And
for
that?
tips.
Yeah.
No, they were asking me from what agency I was from, and I was like, the Agency of Life. All right, I know the director, and it seems more like when I got there, they were all just from random acting agencies. When I got there, I was like, oh, this is a favor. Someone's done me a favor. I shouldn't be here. And it was a bit rude as well because they definitely had acting experience. Like the way they were playing Jenga, I was like, dude, that's so natural. If someone was like, play Jenga at 8 a.m. in a pub and act like you're in Queensland, I'd be like, ha. I don't know, like king hit someone and then push down the Jenga and be like, whoops. Like, what? You told me to act like I was in Queensland. Or I'd just say something fucked and bigoted and then everyone wouldn't even like look at me differently. And I'd be like, oh, okay, great. Good to be back. Anyway, come to Queensland soon. See you there. LukeKidgell.com. So, no, it was so much fun though. It was very cool. It just blew my mind how much effort companies put into like these productions. Like it's now giving me newfound respect. Like whenever I see a Coles ad now, I'm just going to be like, oh my God. They took 4 hours to shoot that broccoli, I bet.
I can relate.
What do you mean?
No, like you'd be like, oh, I can relate to that now.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant you were.
No.
I was like, dude, you have been. Thought you were like, for a second, I thought you were that celebrity chef. Don't know his name. Something, that white guy, the non-Jamie Oliver guy. You know what I'm talking about? The Coles guy.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, down, just like his career. That's rude. And he's probably going well.
Yeah.
Good on him. But yeah, whatever. I'm doing some big shit too. We're all doing well, so that's fine. So yeah, I'm a big shot now. That's all. That's all I really wanted to talk about this episode. That was the meat of the episode there. That is the meaty part. Vegetarians, invite them back in. Because next up on the whiteboard, it just says Brothel Investigation. Now that's a good heading for a story. It seems like, look, this is going to be quite an interesting story. It definitely is interesting. I'm just going to completely be transparent because that's what this podcast is all about. We have an honesty system here. I'm just going to say it now because I don't want to get your hopes up. Shit ending to this story. Terrible. Like it actually doesn't really have an end. It just watch this story just peter out into nothingness. It just kind of, it's like a slow fade. Or if you're an editor, a cross dissolve, if you will. That was niche. But Reese was like, fuck yeah. More of a fade to black, you know, if you're actually an editor. Because cross dissolve, you know what, I could cross dissolve it into the next story, which says pub guy.
Yeah.
So I might try and do a fade into the next story to not bring attention or any more attention to the fact that this story has no ending. But I was at a pub on Friday night training for my big role this morning. You know, this is why these other extras, they were like, how's this guy getting the lead? I'm like, were you putting in the hard yards on the weekend? Probably as well.
The element.
Yeah, so I was like getting ready. Didn't want to tell my mates, you know, too much about the role because I was just trying to like be method, be in character, don't think about it. That's why when I rocked up this morning, I was like, dude, I'm ready for this. I've been touring pubs of this country for 4 years now. I am actually, you know what, I probably was the guy for the job.
Oh, yeah.
Because like out of anyone in Melbourne, who's probably spent the most time at pubs in Queensland in the last 2 years? This guy. Yeah, I'm all about it. So I actually knew it. When he said pretend you're in a pub in Queensland, I was like, gotcha, cool. And I pretended I was way, way more chill than I was in Melbourne. Because Melbourne, you're literally chill. It's cold as fuck here. But up there, dude, not a care in the world. It's great. And some of those deals that were coming in last week on the episode, making me excited to go back. So yeah, I'm at the pub with a couple of the high school lads from high school. That's where I know them from. Yep. And one of them goes, what's this place across the road here? And we've never looked. You know, like we often go to this place and we kind of just never look across the road. It's kind of like a bit of an industrial area. And I'm like, that's weird. And then it has like this bright signage. I'm like, I've never seen that before. Like, that's weird. So let me look it up. Like, what is it? Like, because it doesn't look like, a scaffolding business or a plumbing business. It kind of looks like, could be like something like a night spot, but like, that's weird. Usually when there's like a new bar that opens up around the area, people find out about it pretty quickly, by word of mouth, or you just see it pop up. You're like, oh, that's all this advertising. I was like, this is strange. So we looked it up. When we chucked it into the old search engine, we read some Google reviews, and one of the reviews just was like, oh, Kathy and Alexa were great tonight. Would go again. Definitely recommend. We're like, okay. Weird. Sus. Okay. And then we went down. It was like, was trying to get the job done, or and the music was a bit loud, or something like that. It was like something really vague.
Yeah.
And like suggestive towards the fact. So immediately we were like, oh, it's a brothel. Like, this place must be a brothel. But it's weird because it's like online, it didn't say that. It said it was a bar. But like, that's weird. Brothels are legal. So why is it a front for a thing? Are they avoiding tax? Like, what's this situation? So there's only like 3 or 4 reviews in this place. One is completely, this was one that threw us off. One was just like, the cheese platters are great. Blah, 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 would come again. Or something like that. So then we're like, but at this point, we're like 80% sure this place is a brothel.
Yeah.
So no one was even really thinking, like, everyone's like, it's a decoy review. It's done by the owner. Like, there's no way they have cheese
Or
platters.
maybe you can just get a cheese platter.
Well, that's what we thought. We thought maybe there's like a VIP package where while you're doing roots, you also get to like graze on a like nice platter of cheese and bickies, which would, sounds great. And that's why they had some great reviews there. But just but another reason it was like, the 2 names was like Kathy and Alexa. And it's like, Alexa, yeah, that's a prostitute's name. That doesn't really sound like a real name. But Kathy? Like, oh, man, who you going to see tonight? Oh, I want to see Kathy. Like, if you were, like a younger girl and you worked at a brothel and you had to pick your name, surely you don't go with Kathy.
Yeah.
Nothing against Kathy's, right? Go for a Crystal, go for a Candy, No one, like, I don't want to be rude to Kathy's, but I wouldn't pay to fuck a Kathy. Right, you couldn't, I wouldn't pay to fuck one. So that's what we were just like, this is weird, right? Like, Alexa, very suggestive towards brothel. So the investigation keeps going throughout the night. We did some more Googling. Nothing really comes up. We can't find anything about this place online. Because it's weird, like usually when a new place opens in the area, the local newspaper pushes it.
Yeah, word spreads.
Yeah, word spreads. Just there'd be minimum 5 Google results. There was 1, and it was just their map location. Like, what the hell is this business? So as the drinks keep flowing throughout the evening, eventually one of our mates, Tyler, gets the confidence to run across the road and pretty much just enter what we thought was a brothel, right? So he just kind of leaves, and we're like, where are you going? And he's just like, the brothel. And then we're like, fuck, what a hero. Like, I didn't really have the balls to walk down because it's down like a dark driveway. Then I start kind of wandering down 50 meters after him. More just to like, I don't know, what about if like that's the last time we ever see him or something like that? Because it could just be like we're also thinking swingers club because we saw one couple rock up together. We watched people walk into this place. I reckon 3 people entered. 3 groups entered. 2 of them were just single guys on their own. Pulled up their car, beep, beep, went straight in. That suggested brothel.
Yeah.
Then one couple walked in, went beep, beep, and weren't particularly dressed like they were going out. One guy had his after work clothes on. I was like, okay, this is strange. Right, so when we get up there, like maybe it's a swingers club. Like because I think in our mind by this point, we're like, it has to be something to do with sex. Because we just worked it up in our brains so much, like this place is fucking disgusting, blah, blah. And then, not that guys, brothels are not disgusting, but we just worked it up in our head. Like there's people doing some hectic shit in there. We get up there and I realize, oh no, this is too well lit to be a brothel. It was nice. The driveway was a lot nicer than I thought. Tyler walks in and we're like, what are you doing? Don't walk in. And then he just like comes out and he's like, it's not a brothel. And we're like, what? He's like, it's not. And he's just like shouting, it's not a brothel. And we're like, okay, you can come back now. And then he walks in, he just disappears through these tinted doors, which also suggested brothel.
Yeah.
So we're like, maybe he's just going to get a root. Maybe he doesn't know. Or maybe he just doesn't want us to know it's a brothel and we're going to see him in an hour. I follow him in. I'm like, I'm going to be the brave person to follow him in. It's just a bar, which is what it said online. And we should have believed that, right? Kathy and Alexa are probably just bartenders there, and they probably did great work.
Yeah.
And our minds were in the gutter all night working this crazy fake scenario up in our head. I walk in and Tyler's just booking us a table for this Friday. So like now we're all just going there this Friday to the brothel bar.
Yeah.
But it's not, by the way, it's not a brothel bar. It was very nice. It was actually way nicer than the place we were judging it from. We're at like, like a place that's okay. But dude, this new place, it's the shit. So we're going there on Friday. I'll let you guys know how Kathy and Alexa are. And maybe I'll leave a review.
Get a cheese platter.
But I could get a cheese platter. I also might leave a really suggestive review to try and confuse another friendship group along the way as well. Just like, great sex. Thanks. And then just leave and they can't do anything about that. But, so yeah, that's that. Yeah. See how the story kind of petered out? Like it was good initially. I guess the only good ending to that story would have been if it was a brothel. Because it wasn't a brothel, we were just wrong. And then it turns out we were just kind of being gross. And it was really just a new small business in the area that's trying to get up and about. And then 6 dudes came in telling them, oh, dude, we thought this place was a brothel. And they were like, it's not. It's a bar. You should come. And then we're like, I think we all felt so bad for coming in and just screaming, it's not a brothel, that we just felt so bad that we ended up booking a table there. So I'll do an update next week. I'm sure I'll have a story. Usually my stories only come exclusively from the 5 hours a week of time off that I give myself. And usually those 5 hours a week are just me drinking with my friends, which leads me seamlessly. This is the fade, right? This is the cross dissolve into my next story, which is titled on the whiteboard very creatively, Pub Guy. Now that could actually mean anything. I have remembered just now what it is, but God, for a second there I was like, dude, there was heaps of guys at this pub. Oh, every guy. And what you're probably thinking, Luke, there's no way every guy, you're about to make a massive generalization. Incorrect. Every single person that was a male at the bar we were at on Friday looked like Joe Rogan. There was so many Joe Rogans. There was Latino Joe Rogan. There was just Joe Rogan from Emory Race. There was Indian Joe Rogan. Like just when we thought the Joe Roganness couldn't end, we were looking around the bar, and as soon as we realized it was something you can't unsee, because we always go to this bar that's quite popular with like 35 to 40-year-olds, right? Because, I don't know.
That's the one I went to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just like hanging out. We just like hanging out at, We're weird. We don't like hanging out with places with young people because I don't like young people. Like people my age are annoying, and we're probably annoying to them.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah,
it's like if we're all hanging out at like a place of people our age, like 25, whatever, like say in Fitzroy or something like that, and then a bunch of like fresh 18-year-olds walk in and start raving, and we'll be like, oh, like, that's so annoying. Like fuck off. We're that to them.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
because we're just like arguing outside all night, like if the place next door is a brothel or not,
Yeah.
very loudly. And also just like letting divorced women pour out their lives on us. Have you ever done that? It's a bit of fun.
Once, yeah.
Yeah, we do it every week. It's getting to the point where it's like, sad for us. Like it's usually sad for them. And by like the third lady, I was like, I don't know why I'm indulging. I could just be anywhere. I could do it. I could be playing Tony Hawk, and here I'm listening to this about this 40-year-old mother's 5 kids, and one of them's almost your age, but he's like 13. Anyway, guys, I took a pretty gnarly detour there. That got off the rails, just like that woman's life. Bro, I'm gonna run into these people again because we go there every week. It's always the risk of talking about your personal life on such a public forum. It's just like whenever I went back to the Maccas that I was at last week, and all the staff were just like, we heard the podcast. It was like, because like one person must hear it, and then they would go, oh, you have to listen. Yeah. He talked about our store. So anyway, we were in. This is another deviation from Pub Guy story. Have you ever been in Maccas you know what the saddest hour is? Because everyone thinks the saddest hour at Maccas is 5 a.m. when the pigeon comes in, and flies around the store. That's not the saddest hour where there's birds in the store. I realized that the saddest hour is between 1 and 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Because that's when the cleaners are power cleaning the playground. Dude, it was the saddest shit I've ever seen. These guys' jobs, they just came in, power clean, like, a week's worth of 5-year-olds Happy Meal Coke piss. It's just off the playground. And it was rough to watch. Like, they were cleaning the walls, which I know that it's good that they do that. It's COVID season, got to be safe. But I was like, if you have to power wash the walls, what the fuck is going on in this Macca's playground? That was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. So, anyway, I walk into the toilet. There's 2 guys there. One's about to get his dick out, and the other is filming him. And that's just what I've walked into. There's nothing I can do about that. That's the situation I've landed in, and it's one of those situations where you have to be like, okay, how am I going to play this? You could play it several different ways. You could go telling them, right? I'm not a snitch, right? And also, I'm way too intrigued at this point of why someone's mate is filming him about to get his dick out, because he hesitated. I walked in, the camera was already out, and he was like, about to, like, he had one nut out, and then he saw me and he went, hey. And I was like, okay. And I was like, sorry, you react in the moment. I was like, I feel like I've just walked in on something. And they were like, no, not at all. And I was like, no, I definitely have. You don't have to hide the fact that I just saw your testicle. This is definitely a situation. They go, oh, yeah, they realized they were kind of busting in the act. So it's like, there's a security camera there. It's a security camera. And I looked over the wall. It's not. It's like clearly like a sensor or a smoke alarm or maybe even like an air con. It's something that's on the wall. It's 100% not a security camera. These guys are clearly drunk. And I was like, no, it's not, because it was faced at the urinal. Like, there's no way they'd be filming people just pissing all night from side on. And they're like, nah, it's fucking bullshit. They shouldn't be filming us. So if this guy cared so much about his privacy, why the fuck, I just realized, is he letting his mate film his dick? Yeah. So he's like, this whole guy's point is like, it's an invasion of privacy. Meanwhile, his friends get his iPhone 12 filming his nuts in HD, right? And then he's annoyed about invasion of privacy. So he's like, oh, I'm going to get my dick out and then I'm going to kill the camera. And I'm just like, oh, dude, I have to see this shit. Because, like, yes, you could be the guy that's like, don't do that. But, like, the chances of you winning that interaction of talking the guy who's already got his nuts out, talking him out of that, I was like, I'm not going to be the hero here. I'm never the hero. I'm going to be the guy who laughs about it, then talks about it on his podcast. That's me. I'm like, will never be the person to stop what I think in the moment is a bit of fun. Vandalism, sure, but it's pretty funny when it's not happening to you. Like a lot of things. Right? So I kind of go around the corner because I don't really want to see what's really going on. I kind of just duck around the corner. I'm like, oh, wait till this ends out. But I knew he was going to run into the wall where I could see. So I just kind of hear it happening. All I can hear is like clearly hear him go, all right. And then I hear him go, have you ever helicoptered your dick before?
No.
And like, it's just, like imagine the sound of like a dick, like,
yeah,
just slapping the stomach or wherever. He's clearly, I can hear him waggling it around.
360 it around.
Yeah, like, so he's like, to the camera, waggling it. And then with his dick still out, runs at the wall, hip and shoulders this camera. It's not a camera, by the way. It's definitely just like a light sensor. Then he just goes bang, because he smashes the light sensor. He smashes the sensor all the lights in the toilet just go out. Like they just like I see the bowl just go, and then they go, oh shit, and then I'm just like, and I'm standing there. I was like, and they realize like, this guy's just witnessed us do this, and then this guy just comes up to me. He's like, you didn't see shit, and then he put his dick back in, and then he just
Did he
walked
say that
away.
with his dick out?
Yeah, I think so. I was really looking. It all happened so quickly. I was just like, what's it? Because it went dark. So my eyes were still like adjusting to the light. And then, oh man, it was a bit of fun. So yeah, I think I actually watched a guy just slap out a light bulb with his cock.
Powerful dick.
Yeah, pretty powerful move. It was some of the most aggressive yet humorous vandalism I've seen in a long time, but I don't encourage that. It's just.
And how do you even like come up with that? Like, I've never been that drunk where I've been.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't witness like the pre-planning. I wish I'd have come into the toilet like 20 seconds earlier and like seen the plan unfold.
Yeah.
Like I like to imagine like they had it laid out on the top of the urinal, and they were like, "All right, if you stand here, all right, yeah, hang on, just go over there. Yeah, that'll look good." And also like, this is what I don't understand about like dudes and when I say dudes, I mean like that kind of guy. The kind of guys that like film their friends waggling their dicks and then running into walls and then like clearly just put it in a group chat and everyone's like, good job, Jono. You fucking showed them. You showed that small business what's up. Like I will never understand that level of like just pure testosterone pulsing through your cock and your brain at the same time. It's caveman behavior. I'm just like, every time I think I'm an uncivilized bogan, I realize that I'm usually the most respectful person in the situation.
Yeah.
Like the guy laughing at it I was in that situation. I was the nicest person in the room and I was openly laughing. So, that was a bit of fun. And you know what, Reese? One thing I did clock in the mirror as he was running towards the wall. He could have used a trim. He could have used the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0.
Oh.
That is a dissolve, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling my segues dissolves now. That was smooth as hell. Unlike that man's penis. But guys, if you want smooth nuts, then yeah. The sponsor of our podcast today is Manscaped. Your balls will thank you, boys. All right. And honestly, his balls would have thanked him. I mean, look, his balls were probably very used to being treated disrespectfully on camera. So if you're going to do that, you have a bit of class. If you're going to chuck some shit in the group chat, lads, trim it up a bit, for the boys. Show some bloody respect. So, yeah, and girls, get it for your boyfriends. If you have a boyfriend that has a disheveled nutsack, then what are you waiting for? Use the code BASIC. You get 20% off your order and free shipping. It helps support the podcast because they support us. A bunch of people have gotten it. I had a few testimonials sent to the DM saying, mate, I actually decided to go with the Manscaped and you're not wrong. Little too much information. Someone said, my balls are looking great. Then in brackets, my asshole too. So don't have to tell me all the details, guys, but it's great to see people are loving it. So, yeah, manscaped.com.au. Definitely got on it. It is easily the best shaver. Reese has got it.
Yep.
Big fan.
Yep. Use it in the shower.
Yep. Very good. And it's waterproof as well. One of the big perks of it. And just so smooth. I've never nicked me nuts using it. So would recommend. And less blood on your hands, literally. Because I don't know if anyone's ever tried to use another shaver. But oh boy, it's a horror movie down there. So that's it. That's what's doing. Reese.
Yep.
I have one of the best news articles I've ever read during the week for you. I think it's quite of interest to you.
Yep.
Sorry. It was a joke. Lewis just texted me, I'm a father now. And I was like, I saw you and your girlfriend 2 days ago. What happened? Turns out it was a joke. Sorry, I was explaining to video people what my confused, bewildered look was when I opened my phone. Yeah, this news article that I saw, I just gotta get it up. Oh, I've lost it.
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no! It's Fast and Furious related, by the way.
On brand for the podcast.
Well, yeah, I just figure let's keep this 10-week trend running of just vaguely discussing Vin Diesel almost every episode. Fast and Furious could crossover with Jurassic World, says director. What a fusion. Now that's a dissolve. Dude, imagine that. They went to space this time. We were talking about it, what are they going to do next? They're going to colonize Mars? Nah. Prehistoric time travel. Imagine a Velociraptor and a T-Rex versus a Ford Mustang. Versus some muscle cars driven by Vin Diesel. That's a flick I want to see. Imagine the greatest comedy duo of all time, Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris, reacting to a fairly comedic situation of them being chased through the jungle by a pack of, I don't know how many dinosaurs, velociraptors,
yeah.
or even I could even, I could imagine, how they always jump weird shit? They always just there's always a conveniently placed ramp where they just get heaps of airtime and go, hang on. Or they say some line put your seatbelt on. It's all right, cool. You should have died 4 times by now. Seatbelts are not the concern here, right? There's always that thing. If they do the Jurassic World Fast and Furious crossover, you just know for a fact that there's going to be a Brachiosaurus there with its tail down the ground. They're just going to go and drive up its tail, drive over its back, drive all the way up its big, long fucking neck, and then just get hectic air off the neck. And the Brachiosaurus is going to get off me neck. And then they're just going to yeet it and then, I don't know, destroy some meaner dinosaur. Because that's all the Jurassic Park movies ever are. The new ones at least. It's just a nice dinosaur helping the humans fight bad dinosaur. And I'm so excited. I've never been more excited at the concept of a film. So what this is all rumors, by the way. Has not been confirmed. But the reason why people are talking about it is because I think after the Fast and Furious 8, just after it released, people were joking and someone said in a press conference, what are you going to do next movie? Go to space? Right? And then the director, who clearly at this point is just taking fan suggestions of Reddit forums and press conferences, was you know what, man? I'd never rule it out. That sounds pretty awesome. And then they ended up doing that. And now in the new press conference, they were where are you guys going to go from here? And then Ludacris was well, I think the next logical step is to start doing big crossovers. But imagine an Avengers and Fast and Furious crossover. Because that's really what the Fast and Furious team have become. They were just a kind of street races in the start. Then they became heist, a heist crime group.
Yeah.
And then they became international super spies taking down drug cartels. And then it got really hectic after that. And then they full on started working for above the CIA. And these are still the story is they're still just kind of street criminals.
Yeah.
And now I haven't seen the new one, but then they go to space. So it's the NASA employ them. I don't know. Geez, the fucking meteoric rise to fame just of that squad of Ludacris and the gang is crazy. And then Reese was also saying, which is just disrespectful as hell, that they're considering doing CGI Paul Walker in the new ones. Just let the guy be dead. For his family's sake. Just let, it's horrible. It's so sad. Move on.
Yeah.
It's so weird when they're no, we could just milk this actor.
I reckon they're going to do it in a respectful way, whatever that is.
But it's just to make money.
Yeah.
So is that respectful? I don't think that. I don't know. Maybe that's what Paul would have wanted. I don't know. I didn't know Paul, but it doesn't seem that respectful to me. A respectful way was how they ended it in the 7th one, where Charlie Puth was just singing. Everyone was vibing out, and then they just went their separate ways. Grown men shed a tear. It was beautiful. So get keen for the dinosaur Fast and Furious crossover. That is going to be hectic. I do have a Weed War update. So if you don't know, I'm pretty much been at war with my weeds on and off for the last 2 years. I definitely wrapped up Weed War 1, won that, no questions asked. They stayed in their trenches, their little hidey holes for almost a year. But then over COVID, really since I got busy again, actually, I let it slide, that part of my life. I put my career first, unfortunately, and my gardening behind me.
Yeah.
When in hindsight, should have absolutely been prioritizing my gardening because you notice I fixed up this.
Yeah.
Still not perfect though.
No.
There's still some
Something
troopers.
around, yeah.
Here's my problem at the moment. So Weed War 2 has begun well and truly. I would say it's up to its second phase at the moment. Phase 1 was the front yard, and the problem that I keep running into, and really the main issue, I'm having no trouble getting rid of these weeds this time. They are coming out easy. I'm just racking up my body count. I have all these weeds thing. I'm going to have to start making mass graves in my backyard or burning them. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I've got one whole bin at the front of my house completely full. That goes out tomorrow. That doesn't help. Well, that does help me. But then I've got 2 other smaller bins ready to be dumped in the actual bin as soon as they go out. So I'm ahead of time, and I've got nowhere else to store weed. So I had to just stop. I was halfway through a big old cull, and yeah. So the weeds have got that on me this year. Is the council? They've found an ally in the local council who won't give me an extra bin. Really, I need to request a new bin because about a year ago, this is how lazy I am. I'm such a piece of shit, dude. I still haven't fixed, I still haven't fixed the toilet light. That's been going on for 3 months now. I've been pissing and shitting in the dark since I don't even remember. I feel like Bane from Batman. You're like, I was born in the dark.
You have great aim.
Yeah. Right. I just always use my phone light. Yeah. It's just like really at night. It's like, God, your cock looks haunted. But I haven't fixed that. A year ago, the rubbish truck completely ran over my bin and took the wheels off the thing. I've been lifting my bin around for a year. All I had to do was one phone call to the council. Hey, you guys fucked up my bin. Give me a new one. Thanks. I'm sure that's all it would have taken. Haven't done it. Every time I do gardening, I'm just lugging this bin by hand around my backyard like a degenerate. It's just not good at all. I don't know how people live. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how people do stuff. Like whenever I go past someone's house and the garden looks nice and their car's clean, I'm just like, what kind of psychopath has time to like edge their lawn? Who cuts back regularly? Like these people, I don't know. It's so weird. Is your house like really well kept?
We got like fake grass and that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yeah, I want my backyard to look like a prison yard. I just want it to be concrete, like one weed growing through the middle, and that's like, oh, that's my garden. And every now and then I pick it and I go, boom, gardening done for a year. I just don't understand how people do life. There's so many things I just like need to catch up on. And I did. We cleaned out our whole house, and I feel like we got a quarter of the job done. Blew my mind. Rant over.
Just quickly back on the Weed War. I would love a Weed War Fast and Furious crossover.
Dude, that'd be really helpful. If I could just
Get
have
Vin in the squad to come
yeah,
help.
Vin and the gang, get the Rock to come in and just sit on a few. Get it, like just punch out my weeds. It'd be in his contract. Did you hear that? It's in his contract that Did you hear this one?
Maybe.
Vin, it's in both. I saw this off. This is not my thing. I saw this on Christian O'Connell because Jack Post talked about it. Cackling Jack from Hamish and Andy.
Yep.
Apparently, it's in Vin Diesel and The Rock's contract that they can never lose a fight on screen.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Isn't that insane? Grown ass men go like, I don't want to lose a fight. I'm gonna look like a fucking nerd. But it's just, it kind of makes sense in a way because they don't want to look like a loser on camera.
Yeah.
Like, because it means it puts in everyone's mind like they're a hero and a winner. Because like whenever you see The Rock in the movie, he's never cast as the villain. Yeah. Was he a villain in WWE? I never really watched it. Or was he a good guy? Was he one of the good wrestlers? I don't really remember.
Guy, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he's always been a good guy.
Good guy in the pacifier?
That was Vin.
Oh, it does Vin, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
getting confused.
Two bald men who
confused.
never lose fights. But that's why it was so funny. There's one bit in the franchise where Vin Diesel and The Rock have a fight, and now watching that fight, knowing that it's in their contracts that neither of them can lose, it's so funny because like Vin Diesel gets thrown through a wall, so then The Rock has to pick. So then Vin Diesel has to pick up The Rock and throw him through a wall because everything has to be even.
Yeah.
So the fight's just so repetitive because like punch, kick. And then at the very end, they just kind of call a truce.
Yeah.
I would say that Vin Diesel does win that fight because there's a bit of the fight where whatever, it doesn't matter. Why am I once again, I've found myself pretty descriptively describing Fast and Furious scenes and moments. I do have some stuff about the video game I was playing, but I reckon we should just bust out the jar.
Yeah.
I mean, all it is I've been playing a video game with a friend Tyler who I spoke about earlier, and it's called Chivalry 2. And the whole time we just role play as medieval characters like fucking losers. And Reese is very amused by
I think it's so funny.
It is pretty funny. Reese has now bought the game and is waiting for it to become cross-platform. It's a bit of fun. And one of the most fun parts about the game is you can just like pick up random shit like bread and chickens and cabbage and throw them at the enemy. So like, we'll be like, just random, I don't know. I feel like redoing bits is so weird. But like, we'll just be like back and forthing. And if you just came into that as a stranger, like I came in on him talking by himself the other night. He had great feast hall music playing in the background. I'm looking for my headphones. He doesn't even know I'm not listening to him. So he's just like out loud on my TV, just like, oh, fair wench, come over. Yes, join our crusade. Very good. Sir Luke is just looking for his audio communication device and we'll be on the battlefield. So we just do this for like hours on end. And poor Meg has to sit here and listen to me on the couch going like, I will fight with you in my crusade. Just like on a Wednesday night. Just like, she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, all right, I'm clearly busy,
That's what I'm more looking for. Rather than I'm actually playing a game, I'm just looking forward
the
to
game
just
is
joining.
so mildly average,
Yeah.
but the role playing, I feel like we're laughing without having to leave the house. It's pretty fun.
Soon you guys are going to be dressing up in like costumes while you're playing.
Oh, we already floated the idea. 100%. We were thinking about getting a helmet. Then we realized that would obscure our vision of the controls and the game. But there's been chat of us completely committing to the role playing, and it's a bit of fun. So all right, time to bust out the jar. This is the emergency content jar that we use. We are no longer striving to make the hour. I want to make that very clear. The Luke Kidgell Hour is now a loose title.
Yeah.
I would say it's the Luke Kidgell Almost Hour, but this one is how would your 10-year-old self react to what you do now? Dude, he'd be freaking out because I don't want to brag, but I've seen titties before. He'd be losing his mind. Dude, I was thinking about that the other day. I was just thinking about that. I was just like, I don't know. Have you ever... I'm going to sound like such a fucking virgin in a real second, but I don't know, Reese. Have you ever been like, just fucking, and then been like, this is crazy? Have you ever been like, this is wild? Because like, I don't like, do you remember when you were a kid and you were like, that would probably never happen to me.
Yeah.
That's it's just out of the question.
Yeah.
You know about it and you're like, that's too much. You're like, that doesn't even seem like, and then, oh man. So, I mean, that wasn't really the question. So he'd be pretty stoked about the fact that from time to time, I don't want to brag. I've gotten laid before. I'm a big deal. I'm an actor now. I'm a movie star. Cool, sure, I get laid. It's nothing sadder than a guy bragging about fucking his long-term girlfriend. What else about? Sorry, the actual question.
I think it meant more work-wise.
Sorry, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, well, what was the question again? Yeah, no, I would absolutely think it's the coolest shit in the world. I think if you even told 15-year-old Luke that I would be doing this, it seems impossible. Because, like, you never think, like, you're going to be you see other people that are like doing what you want to do. I don't know. It's like maybe a thing only really relevant in entertainment, but it's like, say if you see a cool artist where you're like, oh my God, like they sell their paintings for a good amount of money and they're making like that might seem crazy if you're a painter. Like, no one would ever want to buy my fucking paintings. I always felt that about like whatever I was doing. I was like, I'm doing this and I think I'm good at it, but like I'm probably not that good. And I honestly think I feel, I don't really see the appeal of like me. But other people do, which is cool, and that's good. There's definitely like sometimes where I like rewatch a stand-up clip of me like doing crowd work, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking hilarious. Like when that What's Crack-a-Lackin' one, that gets me every time. Some guy said What's Crack-a-Lackin' to some girl on Tinder, and for some reason my brain works in the weirdest way. Within a second, I was like, are you the zebra from Madagascar? That's hilarious. That's a quick pull of that reference, right? And I was like, damn, that's a niche thing. And then I got like 1.4 million views on TikTok. You really get rewarded with your quick Madagascar reflexes, which is good. But I don't know. I just think if you had told me when I was 10 that I was doing this, I would have been like, but you have no desire to do entertainment. You currently want to be an AFL player, or maybe you work at the Lego factory, or just taste chocolate. Those are my 3 goals when I was 10.
Yeah.
But when I was like 15, when I started like listening to Hamish and Andy and stuff, that's when I was like, oh, maybe this is what I want to go into. But no one ever really pushed me in that direction, so I didn't start until I was like 18. In high school and stuff, I used to be in like bands, and I thought that was my initial passion, was like maybe that's where I want to end up. But no one ever really directed me into that path until I figured out on my own that I wanted to do it. I kind of wish someone had have pushed me into it earlier, but also then I maybe mightn't have enjoyed it. So maybe everything happens for a reason, guys. What would your 10-year-old self be? So what's a podcast? That's probably
probably that.
That's
What's
probably
a podcast?
what, realistically, my 10-year-old self will be like, what is that? Yeah. I don't know what that is. And how would you get paid for that?
Yeah. Yeah, probably, I don't know. Probably be confused. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do for a while. Like the whole media thing didn't kick in until like when I was like 17.
Yeah, I think a lot of people figure out what they really want to do later. Like it's so weird to. I know a few comedians that have been doing it since they're like 15, and I think that's crazy. Like they're 25 and like, yeah, I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, what the hell? You're 25. Have you been doing anything for 10 years? That's weird when you're so young. But I'll do one more. But that's probably the answer. Is I'd freak the fuck out, and I'd probably be very thankful. And yes, I have the coolest job in the world. And I'm aware of it. I want you to know that. Right? What's the worst advice you've taken?
Oh.
Ooh. I can tell you the best advice, but it actually ended up becoming negative by the end because I just got too busy. But the best advice I ever got was just say yes to everything. And I thought that was so dumb at first. I was like, why would you say yes to everything? Because like nothing worse than particularly like trying to make something of yourself in entertainment than thinking you're too cool for something. Like even like today, like maybe I wasn't the first one that they call it. I don't know if I was the first one who like they called to do the ad or not. I have no idea. But I reckon like maybe say I wasn't, right, and like someone before me might have been like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to do an ad. Like what? This, I could have just been like, I got a podcast that done it. But I was just like, no, like I've never done that before. So I was like, that's a cool new experience. And I had to wake up early and it took a few hours, but it was fun. And it's also just interesting to like see how that type of production operates, because I'm sure one day, I'll inevitably be in that situation again. And now next time when there might be more actually pressure on it, I'll probably know more what to do. Like they were using terminology I've never heard of before. They were like, yeah, we're going to like, we're blocking between 7 to 8 and then we're going to like do, and I was like, I kind of, does it mean like running through it, blocking or setting everything out? I don't really know what it means, but they were just like, all right, we're blocking now. So everyone coming out. And I was like, and I just was like, yeah, cool. We're coming in for the block. Like, I don't know what that means. I was like, are we on TV? Are we making something? DIY? Or like, where's Scott Cam? I was so confused. But just stuff like that is cool. So yeah, I always said that's the best advice I ever got was say yes to everything. And I did do that. I did one time at a community radio for like 3 weeks straight at like dude, like I got up at 4 a.m. and I wasn't getting paid and no one was listening. That's insane. And I did it for like 3 weeks straight. And I used to do community radio. We used to pull all-nighters from midnight till 6. And I think that was just like the thing of, never too good for anything. And I'm really glad I did all that shit, because why no one's listening is the best. At the time, you're like, I want people to listen. In hindsight, God, I'm so glad no one listened to that. And I'm sure even I cringed at the first episode of this podcast. Like, I just can't get through it. It's horrific. And I'm sure, and hopefully in 5 years' time, I'll cringe at this episode. I'm like, really, man? You thought Brothel Investigation was good content? I stand by that. Future Luke, that is good shit. But the worst advice, I honestly can't tell you. No, I've never taken bad advice, because I always just, I'm sure I have at some point. There's never like huge bits where it's ruined my life. No, everything I've done, I don't really regret anything that I've ever done, like career-wise. Maybe like in personal life, I've copped some bad advice, but not career-wise. Personal life, worst advice I've ever taken. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah.
I don't really like. Maybe this is like I'm realizing I don't really take people's advice that much. I just kind of do whatever I think's best, and then go, hopefully that works out, and then just run with it.
Yeah, I really go to people for advice.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people. I don't rely on other people ever, which is kind of sad and fucked up, maybe. But I don't really like rely on other people. I'm never like, I need to talk this out with someone. I'll just be like, I'll talk it out with Meg, but a lot of the time I'm just talking out so I can hear it out loud. Because when you say an idea out loud, and you're like, that sucks. That's a bad. I do it to you all the time. Like, I'll be like, dude, we should fucking. There was like chat of us because we're like, man, we're gonna have to avoid New South Wales on the tour. And I was like, maybe we could like drive to Alice Springs and then just drive around New South Wales from Melbourne to Queensland and do a big U. And then I saw your face like when I said it, and you were just like, no. And I was like, good point. That sounds terrible. But in my head, I was like, that's going to be a great idea. It'll be fun. It'll be a road trip. And then I actually pictured us like being in Cooper Pedy going, why the fuck are we here? We're nowhere near, we're 2,000 kilometers away from the fucking show.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? So I was like, maybe we should just fly and reschedule a show. So the Harvey Bay show has been rescheduled, by the way, if you were going to come to that. It's now August 25th. Guys, that is the end of the episode. Thank you very much for listening. Come see a show, get around it, and I'm a big deal now. I'm an actor, so I don't know. Suck it. It's cool, dude. See you later. Where's Carl's
They
buzzer?
came bounding over.
That guy kissing me. Thinking about him. All right, see you later.
So